The Jake Asman Show will begin shortly. Thanks to all these great Patreon members who help support the show. Get your super chats ready. Jake will be here in just a moment. If you love the New York Jets, this is the place to be. And now, the Jake Asman Show.
ESPN NFL analyst Ryan Clark had a lot to say about where the Jets rank amongst contending teams in the NFL. Did Clark get his analysis correct? We'll talk about it. It's the Jake Asman Show. Let's hit it and get it started. Man, our Jets are primed for a historic season. We bleed Jets green each and every day. This is not the same old Jets. We have Aaron freaking Rodgers. We have Garrett Wilson. Let's go. We have Breece Hall. Please subscribe and hit the like button below. Super chat, baby. Cut the line. We have Sauce Gardner. We have Quinnen Williams. The Jets bandwagon is loaded. Now it's time to talk all things New York Jets. It's the Jake Asman Show. Here we go, Jet fans. Welcome in, everybody. Happy Hump Day, the day before July 4th. Later today, we'll be joined by the Buffalo Jet fan at 4 p.m. Eastern, so circle back to this channel for that one. It will be our final day of 2 shows a day, Monday through Friday, because guess what? It's the holiday weekend, baby, so we'll probably give you a show tomorrow morning, maybe Friday morning, and then take a couple days off over the weekend. So hope everyone is going to be having a great July 4th holiday weekend. With that being said, we got a lot to talk about. We'll play you some comments that were made on the Mina Kimes podcast by Ryan Clark, ESPN NFL analyst. Before we do that, though, I want to give some love to our guy, Bobby Midnight, who before the show even started, already gifted someone a membership. If you hear your name called, it's from Bobby. Chris Hornstein received a channel membership. By the way, folks, for those asking, we are just now 45 members away from our latest channel emoji being added for the Asmaniacs out there. So please consider becoming an Asmaniac by hitting the join button. Make sure you turn on gift receipts in case someone wants to gift you a channel membership. Let's hear now from Ryan Clark, the longtime ESPN analyst, had this to say when being asked about the Jets by Mina Kimes.
We just did the defense pod, and I had the Jets having the second best defense in the NFL.
Yes.
I see no reason why there's going to be any drop-off there. But, you know.
I agree. There's such a big assumption of what this offense will be with Aaron Rodgers, what this offense will be with an older tackle, right? There's so many ifs. If all the ifs hit, sky's the limit for this team because they're going to be so good defensively. We've always had 99 there. And so I'm going to go Jets above the Rams here for all the reasons you said, starting with defense. And you said it on the show with us, earlier. Robert Saleh is a damn good defensive football coach. Like he really is. He's run into bad luck because sometimes defensive coaches is better. It's like when you pair Bill Belichick, who I'm not comparing Robert Saleh to anyway, right? Bill Belichick was a better delegator, head coach, leader, but he had Tom Brady. And so there were times he could be hands off offensively and make sure they got stops. Robert Saleh needs that, and maybe Aaron Rodgers is that because Nathaniel Hackett is there because Aaron Rodgers is there. But if Aaron is healthy, right, you added another young wide receiver. So you at least are trying to give Garrett Wilson the opportunity to get some one-on-ones. And if he's not getting one-on-ones, you have people now that you feel like can get open with a quarterback who's one of the best we've ever seen. And so I feel like it's good. We aren't where we were with the Jets last year, right? Last year with the Jets, we were like, this team's going to go to the Super Bowl. They're going to challenge the Kansas City Chiefs. I believe where we have them now is about where they should be.
So I have no issue with any of that from Ryan Clark. I think that was a fair assessment, right? The Jets do have one of the best defenses in the league. Mina Kimes has the Jets at number 2. PFF ranked the Jets at number 1. no matter how you feel about Aaron Rodgers and his return, what is indisputable about this Jets team is that they are stacked defensively. Do they have some ifs that Ryan Clark is talking about? No question. There's a big assumption on what this offense will look like with Rodgers. But I think what needs to be taken into account is that for the last 2 years, they've had the worst quarterback play in football, especially this past year. Right? Worst in football by far. And they still have been able to win 7 games. What if they just get average quarterback play? Like, we're all assuming, well, Rodgers, MVP. That's not what Jet fans are assuming. I think there's a lot of people in the national media who go, well, geez, Jet fans think Rodgers is going to be 2020 Rodgers again. I hope he is, but I don't think they realize how bad the quarterback play for the Jets has been. They don't need MVP Aaron Rodgers for the Jets to go from 7 wins to 10 or 11 and be a playoff team. Maybe win the AFC East, because I don't think Buffalo has gotten better this offseason. Miami has not gotten better this offseason. If anything, the only team in the AFC East that we could definitively say is improved is the New York Jets. Period. The Jets have been the only team in their own division that has improved this offseason. Tell me the argument for Buffalo getting better, Miami getting better. The Jets go from Zach Wilson to Aaron Rodgers, Tim Boyle to Tyrod Taylor. They've gotten better if they just did that. Now you factor in Mike Williams being added to the offense, Tyron Smith being backed up by Olu Fashanu, Morgan Moses, the return of AVT, Joe Tippmann, another full year of seasoning, Hassan Reddick being added, Sauce Gardner now in year 3, Jermaine Johnson now in year 3. They've gotten better. The rest of the division has not. So while there's a lot of ifs, I get it. How many ifs are there really? Look, if you think Aaron Rodgers is going to get hurt again, then yeah, I mean, I don't know what to tell you. I'm going to operate under the premise that Rodgers will play at least 14 or 15 games when I evaluate the Jets. I won't say all 17, but I'll say Aaron Rodgers could go out there and play at least 14 or 15 games with Tyrod Taylor, who's a proven pro, backing him up, being able to go out there and cover the 2 to 3 games that Aaron might miss. Last year, Matthew Stafford went out there, and I think he's a good comp for Rodgers because Stafford's been a guy who's been injury prone, but he plays through it. Stafford last year, coming off a 2022 season where he only played 9 games due to injury, he went out there and played 15 games. I think Aaron could play 15 games as well. So, to me, what are the ifs with the Jets? The ifs not on defense. Their defense is stacked. Their ifs are not on special teams. They have a great kicker, great punter, great special teams coordinator. If your if is we don't know what the offense is with Aaron Rodgers, okay. If it's at least a league average offense, I think the New York Jets are certainly a playoff team with this defense. Right? Ryan Clark's talking about how great of a coach Robert Saleh is defensively. He's right. So is Mina Kimes. They're both right. So if we know the defense is going to be good, because they've proven that now for the last 2 years with no help from the offense, they've been a top 5 unit. Are there as many ifs with the Jets as people want to say there are? Maybe to be a Super Bowl team, sure. But to at least get in the dance, be one of the 7 teams in the AFC, I don't think there's as many ifs as people think. The schedule's not as difficult. Sure, there's some tough travel, some short weeks. But you play Thursday Night Football at home twice. Your toughest game, you get out of the way week 1. I think it's set up nicely, assuming Rodgers plays the amount of games I think he's going to play, which is 15, for the Jets to be one of the better teams in the AFC. So I think number 12 is a little low for where the Jets rank. But I won't sit here and say it's egregious. I think it was fair analysis from Ryan. What's egregious is when Mike Florio, because he hates Aaron Rodgers with every fiber in his body, puts the Jets at 25 in his power rankings, when they weren't even 25th last year without Rodgers. So I think the Jets would be a little higher here. But this is fair analysis, in my opinion. But I don't think there's as many ifs as Ryan made it sound like. Like, I don't know if there's that many ifs if you really think about it. Are there some concerns with some guys maybe staying healthy for the duration of the year? Sure. But I don't think it's as drastic as some think. If Rodgers is just average, they go from 7 wins to 10, in my opinion. I think he's going to be above average, which is why I have the Jets right now at 12-5 AFC East champions. Because I think with this roster and a chip on the shoulder, Aaron Rodgers, with the playmakers they have put around them, the O-line being what it is, I think the Jets are a damn good team. And I'll tell you what, the more I think about this offensive line, the more it has a chance to be the best O-line the Jets have put on the field since 2009 or 2010. Seriously, all pro left tackle, stud right tackle, stud right guard. I believe Tippmann's going to be a damn good center. I've been on this for a while, so I'm high on Tippmann. And obviously, I think John Simpson's a significant upgrade over Laken Tomlinson, who, nice guy, but was not a good football player. So I'm higher on the Jets than Clark is, but I think his assessment's fair. Because Clark even acknowledged, hey, if Aaron's out there and he's Aaron Rodgers, this is a legit Super Bowl contender. That's how you got to look at it. But to me, it all starts with winning the damn division. You have to win the AFC East if you're the Jets. That's where it starts. Home playoff game, and we go from there. That's the key to all this. Home playoff game, and off we go. This fan base deserves it. And I think it's a realistic goal given the state of the division, given the fact the Jets do not play a first-place schedule like the Bills do, given the fact that I don't think Miami is as good on paper as they were last year, and they struggle in cold weather. They struggle against good teams. If not now, then when? When are we ever going to see the Jets win the AFC East? It's only been since 2002, for the love of God. That's the first goal in the regular season. Win the damn division. And I think the Jets are actually equipped to do it. Hit the like button if you're tuning in live right now. Shout out to all the Asmaniacs out there who are supporting today's show. Let's give some additional love right now to a couple of incredible Asmaniacs. We already mentioned this guy once because he gifted a membership before the show started. How about Bobby Midnight with another membership being gifted to none other than Sarah, who, if you've been following the show, is Craig's coworker down under in Australia. So we are the biggest Jet show in Australia. And now Sarah officially is an Asmaniac. She learned how to turn on the gift receipts, and shout out to Sarah for getting her channel membership. All right, another one has come in. How about Addison coming through for the people? Addison's membership went to Scrawny Depp. So we have added 3 channel members. We entered today's program in need of 46 more members for a new emoji. Well, with those 3, we are now within range of a couple of explosive gifted memberships to maybe get there by the end of the day. So shout out to our 3 members that we've added so far, 43 away from a new emoji. Before we get to some of your calls on the Gus Buster Umbrella Hotline, before we get into your thoughts on Ryan Clark's analysis on where the Jets stand among contenders in the league, I want to say that today's Jake Asman show is presented by my friends at Cuts Clothing. You've heard me talk about their t-shirts or the joggers that you see there up on the screen, but how about the fact I'm rocking this Cuts polo shirt right now? I wore one yesterday in beige. This is the black polo. It is sleek. It is comfortable. It does not wrinkle when you put it through the wash. I can't say enough good things about Cuts Clothing, the design, the fabric, the whole thing. Get the same shirt I'm wearing. Get any of Cuts Clothing or apparel items at their online store by simply going to cutsclothing.com and using my promo code ASMAN at checkout so you could receive a 20% discount. Once again, Cuts Clothing. It's the official apparel of Michael Chandler from the UFC, and I understand why he's all on board. If you're someone who doesn't like tight clothing, doesn't like that, that itchiness that you sometimes get when you're sweating through, you want good material, that's Cuts. I swear by it. Check it out. Support them because they are an awesome, awesome clothing company. Once again, can't say this enough. Embrace this summer. Get yourself Cuts apparel, Cuts Clothing, promo code. You see it right there. It's up on the screen. It's promo code ASMAN for 20% off at checkout, or simply go to cutsclothing.com/ASMAN. Shout out to Cuts for styling me here on today's program. Comments, questions, super chats. We'll cut the line. Shout out to everyone watching live right now. Maurice checks in with an Asmaniac super chat. Number 1 defense in the league. Let's let that marinate for a minute. This league is on notice. The people that actually watch the Jets or know about the roster know how good this defensive unit is. And I'll say what I've been saying for the last several months. They got a chance if healthy, and that's the key because they've been relatively healthy on defense, certainly way more than the decimation of injuries on offense. They got a real shot, folks, to be the best defense in the league because they're going to be able to play with more leads. They're going to close out games with a fourth quarter pass rush. One thing I'd like to see the Jets do this year more on defense, I'd like to see them blitz a little more, especially late in games. Put the pressure on the other team. Put the pressure on some of these young, inexperienced quarterbacks you're facing this year. Right? Send Quincy Williams on a blitz like they did at the end of the Denver game where he knocked Russell Wilson on his ass and caused the fumble that Brandon Echols returned for a touchdown. I'd like to see that from this defense. We know they could cover. We know they got the talent up front. I think we're going to get a big season from Jermaine, a big season from Quinnen. Hassan's playing for a contract. You're going to get the best from him. I think Will McDonald is going to be a contributor for this team and take a huge step. I'd like to see the Jets blitz more, be more aggressive. We know they're going to be more aggressive in letting Sauce shadow. I think there's some more wrinkles up Robert Saleh and Jeff Ulbricht's sleeve, so to speak, with some creative blitzing. Especially when you look at the schedule, look at the amount of inexperienced quarterbacks they play. Will Levis is in his second year. September 19th could be Drake May. September 29th could be Bo Nix, or I pray it's Zach Wilson. I don't even know if he'll be on the team by then, but you get the point. October 6th is either Sam Darnold, who can't handle a blitz to save his life, as we all know, Jet fans, and obviously J.J. McCarthy. By the 27th against New England, you're definitely playing Drake May by then, you'd think. Anthony Richardson is in his second year. Like, you have a lot of inexperienced quarterbacks that you're playing, especially early. I'd like to see the Jets be aggressive on defense. I know they have their scheme, but I think part of the reason why they couldn't really send the Kachunga blitz is because they were so worried about getting burnt and then trailing in a game. And if they trail in a game, they know they're not coming back because they had an inept offense led by an inept quarterback. I hope it's a little different this year. So I think that's important. But I like where this team is headed. I like where they currently stand. Comments, questions, super chats. We'll cut the line. Folks, sign up for my Patreon if you haven't already. When the merch store launches in a couple weeks, Patreon users will get an exclusive discount code as a thank you for supporting me, so you can get yourself some fresh as Maniac merch before the general public. Plus, you'll get it discounted. Patreon.com/Jake Asman Show. You get access to our Discord chat where we announced something special for fantasy football players who are interested in playing in a fantasy league with me this upcoming fall. That and much more, show in audio form, your name in the intro, and a whole lot more. Shout out to everyone who is a Patreon member who helps support me over there. It goes a long way towards this channel continuing to grow. All right, here we go. Comments, questions, super chats. First up on the Gusbuster hotline is a man who gifted already 2 channel memberships. Ladies and gentlemen, Bobby Midnight.
Well, you know I love the Yankees and the Jets, and to read the super chats are more than just a hat. Bobby.
Hi, Jake. I was excited who got her membership by me. Wow.
Yeah, how about Sarah getting it?
That's like gambling on that, man. That is awesome, huh?
I love to see it.
So was that video about the Jets defense they were talking about?
Well, they were talking about the overall roster and how the defense was a strength and that you know, the defense is accounted for and there's unknowns on offense.
Yeah, I agree. No, there's a lot of people on offense that are not unknowns. Yeah, I agree. Both sides of the ball are strong, so I agree with that. So can you ask Neil where you guys are sitting? I'll pay for the tickets myself to bring over there.
Sure.
Yeah, I want to sit next to you and Neil. Yeah.
Well, what if Neil doesn't want to sit next to you though?
Okay, because I stink.
Would you smell?
No, I don't smell.
Okay.
Hey, do you want me to do the I Pledge Allegiance, or wait till we get the new emoji?
No, you'll do the Pledge of Allegiance. For those who missed yesterday's show, Bobby has agreed to do the Pledge of Allegiance in honor of July 4th once we hit a membership threshold to add a new emoji.
Oh, that's when they do it. Okay. I was all set for this morning.
Yep.
But I appreciate you coming on to my show yesterday. That was awesome.
I enjoyed it.
We had a great show, and thank you for the money you gave me. I appreciate that.
Of course.
I'm paying it forward this morning, so I wanted to help out people too.
I love it. You're a good man, Bobby.
I tried, but look what Alan put in the chat. I'm a mensch, whatever that means.
Ignore Alan.
What does mensch mean? Do you know?
It means you're a gentleman.
So what? That's a good thing. What
Yeah, but I just don't like Alan, so I'm just telling you to ignore him.
But I don't know. I thought it was a bad word. Mensch is a nice word. Then.
It is. It is a nice word.
Well, maybe I got confused. Well, thank you for having me on.
My pleasure, Bobby. When's your next show?
After yours. But
Well, you know I have my own YouTube show. If I'm awake, I'm going live. Unless Jake has a show, Bobby.
Ladies and gentlemen, we will hear from Bobby Midnight again if we hit the membership threshold during this episode. And maybe we will, because Andrew Kennedy has just gifted 5 channel memberships.
Money, 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 money.
If you hear your name called, you're a channel member. Mike Mime, Damaged Lemon, Cole Swatsky, The Veteran, Chick Wolf Ranch. You guys are all officially channel members. Welcome, welcome, welcome. All right, keep rolling with the calls right now. V8 the Great is up next. V8, what do you got for us?
Man, it's actually kind of here to hear some fair analysis on the Jets defense. Nick Wright's clown. I don't want to cuss, but he said the Jets don't even have a top 5 defense. He said that the Patriots defense is going to be better than us. The Steelers, which could possibly be, but I don't think the Steelers will be better than us. And I think he said the Chiefs and the Browns. So what's your take on that?
My take is that Nick Wright is biased. He hates Aaron Rodgers, and thus he hates the Jets, and I don't really care for anything he says because he put together a list of the top 5 quarterbacks in the league. He put Caleb Williams at number 5. You lose all credibility.
Who hasn't played it down in the NFL.
but so all you need to know about Nick Wright is that he hates Aaron Rodgers, so I don't care for his analysis. Ryan Clark, I thought, gave fair analysis, so I played it, you know?
Yeah, so, that's all we can really ask for. Like, if you're going to talk football, Jake, let's talk the game of football.
Amen.
That's all we can now ask for. But, Jake, I don't know why. I've been looking at the schedule, and I don't know about you, but I only see, like, maybe 2 losable games. Like, what's your take on that?
Well, there's definitely going to be a game or two they lose.
Yeah, of course.
They're not supposed to. I mean, the Jets, no one gave them a chance against the Eagles, and they won that one, right? They beat the Texans last year. So, like, crazy things happen in the NFL. But, to your point, there's a reason why when you look at the schedule, they are a projected favorite in 14 of their 17 games. Like, maybe they lose a game in Buffalo. Maybe they lose one of the Dolphin games because it's a division game and wacky things happen. But, they could lose the Niner game. But for the most part, like, they should be equipped to win at least 11 or 12 games if they get decent health. At the bare minimum, I think 10 wins is fair, given they've won 7 the last 2 years with no quarterback.
Okay, and one more question. Outside of Patrick Mahomes, because, he's Patrick Mahomes, we make the playoffs. What other quarterback besides Patrick Mahomes don't you want to see? Until probably, like the AFC Championship.
Maybe Burrow. Burrow, I feel like he's got that clutch gene. He's been to a Super Bowl. He's beaten Mahomes in the playoffs.
Okay.
I don't think there's really anyone, though. Like, they match up well with Allen. Tua doesn't scare me against a good team. Like, the AFC is tough, but I think the Jets are right there. I'll take Aaron Rodgers in a 1-game scenario against any of these guys.
Yeah, we beat C.J. Stroud with Zach Wilson. I'm not really scared of the Texans, despite all the acquisitions they made. So, yeah. But, yeah, I just want to get your insight on that, Jake. I love to talk football with you. And, shoot. Man, we got 1 month until preseason football, and then we're back. Yeah, can't wait.
Yeah, a little less now till training camp. That's the first key date, July 23rd.
Man, can't wait. Once Jets drive, can't wait to tune in, man.
Love it.
Have a great day.
V8, appreciate you, man. Great call. Look, at the end of the day, the New York Jets have all the pieces to win. Now they got to do it. Nobody cares until you win. Rick Kent, 5 channel memberships.
Money, 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 money.
LG Frey, Johnny 5, James Clearly, Blaine Suprin, Effin Football. You guys are all channel members. Let's go. Keep it rolling here with the members. Ladies and gentlemen, keep it rolling with your calls right now. Joining us now is a man who's always down to give us a Puerto Rican history lesson.
It's time for V-Man to talk about Puerto Rico and his Puerto Rican roots.
Oh, hey, Jay, what's up?
V-Man, would you like to give the Pledge of Allegiance another shot after you've mistakenly left a couple words out yesterday?
I think I'm good right now, okay?
You don't like this country?
No, maybe I wanted to stay in for the actual 4th of July.
All right. So you're going to call in tomorrow morning if I do a show?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, honestly, I wasn't going to actually talk about anything Puerto Rico today, history-wise.
Okay.
And
Is that a Darth Vader shirt?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, no, because I talk today on my guitar. It's July 3rd because it's two of my favorite music. It's today the 27 Club Day.
Ah.
You know, because today's the day both two members of the 27 Club died. Jim Morrison and Brian Jones both died on this day 2 years apart. Alan, can you stop with that? Alan, we don't hate it. We're just critical. Alan, like, do we really need to get in there, Alan, with these comments?
Can you ignore Alan, V-Man?
No, hold on, Alan. We're gonna get this. Read this book, Alan, and
here we go.
you might
Here we
understand
go.
why certain people in my community are a little ticked.
Here we go.
I just for that. Just because Alan's got to be that guy, you know. He's got to be that. He's got to be the contrarian in the chat, doesn't he?
V-Man, say the following. Luke, I am your father.
Luke, I am your father.
Thank you very much.
Technically, that's not even the line. It's no, I am your father. That's
okay, say that again.
No, I am your father.
Thank you.
So, like, are we actually going to talk about football now?
Do you have any football points? I just assumed you had.
Well,
nothing.
I agree with the analyst take. You know that it's a fair take. You know, it's not. He's not throwing the Jets under the bus. I don't think, because obviously we've seen it. A lot of haters out there want to throw them in the back of the rankings, and he gave us a solid position. I think 12. I agree with you that 12 maybe a bit too low for my blood, but you know, but it's a fair outside analysis of the team, and I feel like we're probably going to be in that range maybe to start off the season, probably just like on the precipice of the top 10. I feel like by season's end, if all goes well, we should be able to get to the be in the maybe edge of top 5, maybe like 6, possibly even in the top 5, if all goes well with this season.
V-Man, say the following quote. When I left you, I was but the learner. Now I am the master.
When I left you, I was the learner, but now I am the master.
All right, now say this. You ready?
What Darth Vader quote you want me to say now?
I find your lack of faith disturbing.
I find your lack of faith disturbing.
Excellent job today, V-Man. One of your better calls. You recovered nicely.
Okay.
That's the end of this V-Man call. Time for him to get back to pooping.
What a call from V-Man. If I do a show tomorrow, he will do the Pledge of Allegiance for all of us. Incredible. Ladies and gentlemen, more memberships are being gifted for the Asmaniacs. Bobby Woodruff making it rain again. Bobby's taking all his Venmo money and dumping it back into the Asmaniacs. If you hear your name called, you got this membership courtesy of Bobby. Gary Johnson, you are a channel member. But wait, folks, that's not all. Patrick Volpe making it rain. How about 5 more channel memberships?
Money, 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 money.
Frutus Lupus, Jeff Terwillinger, Tyson B, Hex Mayer, Aussie Bushman. You are all channel members. Welcome, welcome, welcome. More of your calls right now. Kyle Clifton is up next on the Gusbuster Umbrella Hotline. Hello, Kyle.
Good morning, Jake. How are you?
What's going on, Kyle?
So, Empire Strikes Back is the #1 popcorn movie of all time.
All time? To me, it's my favorite Star Wars movie. I don't know if I put it all time, but it's a great movie.
But a popcorn movie, like rollicking. enjoyment, like not really artistic value, but so much fun in the theater. I think it's number one.
Hey, you could certainly argue it. I'm not going to tell you you're wrong for that.
Okay. Two things. Ryan Clark. I think he's pretty much on base, but I think he hasn't seen your chart for one thing, right? He hasn't seen your quarterback chart, and he's kind of assuming that the wheel's going to come off Morgan Moses and Tyron Smith and Mike Williams and Rodgers all at the same time. And I think we're savvy enough to know that that's probably not going to happen. We don't expect great from Rodgers. We expect good. We expect competent. If we get average, we're ready to go because we haven't had that percent efficiency, and we need to get to 65% efficiency. Did you see the tweet yesterday from, I think it's Peter Bukowski? He's the guy who does the Locked On Packers.
I
podcast.
Did not. No.
He is a longtime Jet hater. He was all up in with his panties in a bunch about offensive line rankings and having the Jets in front of the Packers.
That poor thing. I feel terrible for him.
He is very precious. He's a very precious individual. But he was saying that they were two 48-year-old tackles. He was describing Tyron and Morgan Moses. I wanted to see if you saw it or if you had any comment on it.
I mean that's rich coming from a guy who's had to support David Bakhtiari the last couple of years.
There you go. All right, that's all I had, Jake.
Kyle, good call by you. Appreciate that. Yeah, I mean, look, if the Jets can get decent health on the offensive line, I think they can be a top 10 unit, top 5 even. They have a second-team All-Pro left tackle. Morgan Moses is as solid as any. AVT has Pro Bowl potential. We've seen it. Tippmann, I think, is going to be a really good center in this league. Simpson was good last year. They have Olu backing up both Moses and, obviously, Tyron. They have a damn good team, man. They do. Just pray we get injury luck for once. Injuries happen. It's football. No one's going to stay 100% healthy. But the Jets have just been decimated with injuries. It's insane. Ladies and gentlemen, Rick Kent might actually be a legit superhero like his brother Clark. Oh, baby. 10 memberships. It's raining. Here we go. Oh, yeah, Rick. If you hear your name called, it's from Rick Kent. Zorpa, Turd Ferguson, Nicholas Burton, Mr. Jerwin, GP, Ryan Arm 93, Michael Atondo, Ant Nose. You guys are all channel members. 2 more. Zendo Argos, Zach C. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you for signing up. And thank you to Rick for being the reason why you're signed up to being a channel member. Speaking of signing up, this is what we call the old-fashioned way. Shout out to Robert Whitaker, who just signed up on his own. He doesn't need anyone to give him a hand-me-down. Love it. Joining us right now from the hospital room where his 9th child is about to be born is none other than Johnny Boy. Hello, Johnny.
What's going on, brother? Hey, man, we're at baby watch hour over 20 plus hours already, dude.
Oh my God. Did you sleep at all last night?
Bro, no, dude. It's been because the nurses come in and out, and she's got to get up. You got to help her up. You know what I mean? So, but I'm in here, man. So I appreciate you guys putting the content out. And I started watching the best of the As Maniacs episode 3. And me and both her was busting out laughing, bro. So appreciate that, man. And hey, Jake, man, real talk, you're a good one, bro, because you come out and like you show love to everybody and all of us out here and all that, and it means a lot to like all of us and whatnot, bro. So I'm hyped to meet you, dude. Cannot wait. I feel like I've known you for like ever, but never met you in person. You know what I mean, face to face. But dude, I cannot wait till the season starts and we're gonna shut up everybody, bro. Once we start winning like crazy. Once we start winning, everybody's going to be like, oh, we were saying that the Jets were this good from the very beginning. And, bro, I know you've keeping your receipts on everybody that's been doing that. So.
Oh, yeah.
But, yeah, man, I appreciate you, man. And, dude, I'm still in the hospital waiting. And, hey, JETS, Jets.
Do you have do you have a projected time? Like, are we any closer? I don't know how any of this works.
Dude, no, like they're just she hasn't dilated like enough for them to be like, all right, it's ready. So, but I mean, dude, it'll be awesome if the baby's born on July 4th. So like I'm like, but she's asleep right now, which is good. So she's been able to rest and stuff. But other than that, dude, it's just stupid nurses come. Well, they're not stupid. I don't mean to say that. Not my fault, but the nurses got to come in and check on her and stuff like that. So I appreciate what they're doing. They're actually really awesome. But
all right. Well, if your wife is giving labor when I'm still on the air, make sure you call in. We'll live stream it. All right.
Jake, I will go ahead and hit you on the Discord real quick. If you guys don't have the Patreon, y'all missing out, right? But Jake might get the first live Jake Asman delivery Jets baby show ever, bro. So might happen, dog. I appreciate you, bro.
Johnny, good luck, and send our best to your wife as well.
I appreciate it. Later, dude.
Johnny boy, check it in. You guys see that hat he's rocking? That Hugo House hat? Same one I'm rocking, same brand. Promo code Asman, HugoHouse.com. We'll continue with more of your calls, get to more of your super chats as well. Before we do that, today's Jake Asman Show is presented by my friends at Circa Resort and Casino.
We don't need gimmicks like giant checks and mascots to promote this year's football contest because we're giving away even more money than we did last year.
$16 million in guaranteed prizes to be exact. There's 2 ways to win and no rake.
Players in Circa Millions make 5 picks against the spread each week with quarterly and full season payouts.
Circa Survivor entries select one team each week with no point spread. Last the longest to win it all. Visit circasports.com for details.
I'm headed out to Vegas for Circa's contest weekend in late August. I'll be out there from August 22nd through August 24th doing the show from Circa ahead of their contest weekend. Registration's open, circasports.com. You got to be in Vegas to register for the contest, so plan your trip. And, of course, if you can't make it to Vegas, there's a proxy who could sign up for you as well. So there's information about that on the Circa website. But more importantly, $16 million in guaranteed prizes for the Circa football contest. So we will have an entry. The Asmaniacs will have an entry in the Survivor Pick'em contest, right? We're going to pick a team every week. The Asmaniacs will vote on it. It's $1,000 to enter for us to have a shot at winning millions of dollars altogether. So the Circa Survivor contest, we will have an entry. I'm putting up $1,000 of my own money, $1,000 to get an entry in the Survivor pool, and we'll come up every week with the team we want to pick in Circa's Survivor contest, the Survivor Pro Football Contest. Circasports.com for more information. If you love sports betting, if you love picking games, they have the best football contest out there out of any sports book in the world. Circasports.com. All right, more of your calls and super chats. Let's keep it rolling. Purple Belt Mike writes in, The Dark Knight is the greatest. One of the best movies of all time. Maybe the best superhero movie of all time. I put it right up there. Dark Knight, for me, Spider-Man 2. I mean, there's a lot of good ones to choose from. But I mean, the performance by Heath Ledger in The Dark Knight, one of the all-time great acting performances. So that's a good one. Very good one. Curly writes in, can't wait to share a car ride with V-Man. Curly and V-Man have connected off air. Curly will be driving V-Man down for the Jets home opener, folks. Uh-oh. Peter Castro with a super chat. Offense will keep the defense off the field. Defense will be well-rested and brutal. Peter, from your lips to God's ears. Got to blitz a little more. I like to see. I know you're on board with that too. First State Jets writes in, no one ever talks about the hypotheticals going positive. What if the D's #1 in the league? What if Aaron plays at an MVP level? What if Garrett Wilson reaches a new level? What if Brees is a beast? Then I'll tell you what, the New York Jets are in the Super Bowl this year. Let's go. MVP level Rodgers, best defense in the league. The last time Rodgers had a top 5 defense, he won it all. comments, questions, super chats will, in fact, cut the line. Open phone lines for anyone who wants in on the conversation. We'll do another Ask Me Anything right now. Doesn't have to be Jet related, anything sports wise, anything on your mind. We'll Ask Me Anything as we wait for more calls to come in here on the first show of the day. And if you're tuning in late, I said it earlier, the Buffalo Jet fan expected to join us at 4 p.m. Eastern time today for our final two a day before the long holiday weekend coming up. Beth Page, Chris writes in, as Maniacs meeting B-Man at the home opener may be the most polarizing moment of 2024. I mean, we got a who's who of people coming to the home opener. B-Man, Bobby Midnight. It's going to be wild. Peter Castro says, blitz more and travel with Sauce, which I think they're going to do. That's my interpretation. Darius, can't wait to see the Jets crush the Pats in the home opener. Please. Oh, my God, do I need it. Tom Ace writes in, Charles Gorman has great taste on the subject of superhero movies. I'm sure he does. But the issue with Charles Gorman is it's tough to understand him when he's chewing like a madman. And that seems to be the problem. If you tell me pound for pound Charles Gorman's breaking down superheroes, I'd listen, but it'd be hard to understand him when he's going like this. What am I supposed to do with that? Purple Belt Mike writes in, Jake, who's the best villain of all time? This is a great question, Mike, because how do you determine best? I think the most iconic villain of all time is Darth Vader. But I don't know if he's the best villain of all time. Like, I think the Joker is a better villain. I think even Bane, you could argue, if we're staying with Batman, is a better villain. But I think the most iconic villain is Darth Vader. He's probably the most famous villain of all time. Can I give you a candidate that is not from a movie, but it's from a TV show that I love? Anyone who has seen the show, The Boys, I think Homelander is in the running for the best villain of all time. If you've seen the show The Boys on Amazon Prime, I think you could argue Homelander's in the conversation for those who have seen that show, which I highly recommend. They're in season 4 right now. It's phenomenal. Mike says, Homelander, that's what I was looking for. There you go, Mike. Honestly, if we're ranking the biggest villains ever, I think JJ's in the conversation. Jets Forever, Allen. Where do they rank? In the Asmaniac universe, they're right there. Someone wrote Jenny from Forrest Gump. That's funny, Shadow Realm. Honestly, I'd say Rose from Titanic. She's a murderer. She didn't move over for Jack. And then she has the audacity to take that chain that's worth millions, the diamond, and throw it in the Atlantic Ocean. I could have paid for her grandchildren's college. So selfish. Huge villain. Rose from Titanic. Someone wrote Dr. Evil. Hans Gruber. That's a good one. Magneto from Marvel. Tom Brady. Adam Gase. Man. I don't know. After yesterday, I started to think long and hard about the top villains in the history of the world. And it's funny because I was thinking long and hard about this, and I think it might be JJ.
You guys realize Mike T was the general manager from 2006. We didn't go to the AFC Championship until 2009, 2010. So that's 4 years into his tenure. He got better as a GM. Joe Douglas has never had a winning season. What are we talking about? And you guys are sitting here trying to say he's better than somebody who took you to 2 AFC Championships, and this guy never had a winning season? You guys are idiots. What are we talking about here?
Are you calling me an idiot?
Everyone who thinks that Joe Douglas is better than Mike T as a general manager is an idiot.
I think you're lumping too many different arguments from different fans at once. My take has always been that Douglas has done more good than bad. He's missed on quarterback. Last year was supposed to be the year we find out what this team is. Rodgers got hurt. He gets this year with the head coach. I have never separated the two. I have kept them on the same timeline.
Question: do you think Mark Sanchez was a good quarterback pick?
No.
Let me ask you this: do you think Rex Ryan was a good head coach hire?
Without question.
Obviously, we already know Zach Wilson was a bad quarterback pick. Do you think Robert Saleh was a good head coach hire?
I don't think we have a definitive answer on what Saleh is as a coach.
And that's the whole point right there. If you miss on quarterback, but you get the head coach right, you can still win a playoff game.
Dude, there's levels to it, though. The Jets roster that Rex Ryan inherited was infinitely better than the roster that Mike Tannenbaum inherited. Rex Ryan took over a team that won 9 games. They were 8-3 before Favre got hurt. They finished 9-7. That team had been in the playoffs in 06, in 04. They had a lot of success after Parcells took over and built the team following the disastrous Kotite era. Robert Saleh inherited the worst Jets team of all time.
Adam Gase, a year prior, had just won how many games?
Look at the quarterbacks they beat, and when they played any good teams during that stretch, they got destroyed. Are you trying to tell me that Adam Gase is somehow on the same level of coach as Robert Saleh? You're trying to say that Saleh is Gase level bad. Is that what you're trying to argue?
Adam Gase went to the playoffs with the Dolphins.
Who cares? Adam Gase is the head coach of the Jets, was the second worst coach, I would argue, in the history of the franchise.
No, Robert Saleh is the second worst coach ever because he still hasn't won.
No, he's not. He hasn't won because the quarterback has been historically bad since he's been here.
Quarterback? Who picks the quarterback? Joe Douglas picks the quarterback.
Goodbye, JJ. Aaron Rodgers got hurt in the 4th play of the year. You know what happened. Zach Wilson sucked. We understand that. Okay, to sit here and say Saleh is the second worst coach the Jets have ever had tells me that you don't know anything about football, JJ. The man's won 7 games the last 2 years with the worst quarterback play in the league in the last decade. They have one of the best defenses in the NFL. They have a clear pipeline of player development. The guys play hard for him. He's not perfect. Saleh's not perfect, but that's such a stupid call. And then when I counter your garbage point, you then say, well, who drafted the quarterback? No one is sitting here saying that the people who run the Jets are great. What we are simply saying is they get this year. They have unbelievable talent. Now it's time to win. Trying to say that Saleh is Gase. Did you watch the games? Gase is an offensive genius. Where did the Jets finish on offense his first 2 years? His only 2 years. 32nd. To try and bring up, well, you see, if you have a bad quarterback but a good coach, you could win a playoff game, as if Rex Ryan didn't inherit a 9-win football team that had the best offensive line in the NFL. What did Robert Saleh inherit? Go look at the 2021 roster. Robert Saleh took over a 2-win expansion-level team that had the worst point differential in franchise history. JJ, you are a fool. You just try and nitpick certain things and twist it and go, oh, I'm JJ. Look at me. Come on, man. That's so weak. Rodgers getting hurt screwed up everything last year. The classic JJ move. Just keep moving the argument somewhere else. The goalposts always being moved. JJ style. Nothing like it. Ladies and gentlemen, a couple super chats here. First one from Tyrone Garcia, who checks in and says the Jets will rush for 2,800 yards, which will make them unstoppable. The defense will be more rested. Aaron will be great. Go Jets. Tyrone, I like where your head is at. David Hall writes in, the goal is to win the division. No ties. Come on, let's keep the faith in our team. 14-3, worst case scenario, 12-4. 12-5, David. 12-4, you can't do it. 17-game season now, but sign me up for your thoughts. If the Jets' worst case scenario is 12-5, I'm in. Rick Kent says best part of that call is Jake hanging up on JJ mid-sentence. It needed to be done. Needed to be done. Ladies and gentlemen, joining us right now is the pride of the Albany region, the hardest worker in corporate America. Ladies and gentlemen, Dre joins us. Hello, Dre.
How you doing, Jake? That was an amazing intro. Thank you so much for that.
What's up, man?
Listen, I had all my thoughts written down. I was like, okay, I'm gonna be calm, I'm gonna be lucid, I'm gonna be this and that. And I just rewatched that entire thing. Seeing JJ dance and sing like who picks the quarterback. I was like, bro, what are you, 10? Like, are you serious? That was the whole point of his entire argument, to get you to say that the quarterback was the worst quarterback ever picked, and that now that makes Joe D like this terrible person. Mind you, who's the GM for the Eagles again?
Howie Roseman.
And he picked who? He picked
He picked Carson Wentz. He also picked
And-
Jalen Rager instead of Justin Jefferson. Like
Yeah,
the best
exactly.
GMs all don't hit on everything. Like that's what JJ wants, like us to talk in absolutes. Like
Yeah.
Douglas bad, Saleh bad. But the reality is you can't ignore some of the good they've done too. Like there's nuance in it. Like the reason why they have jobs right now is very complicated. Like they would not have had a job currently if they flamed out last year with Aaron playing, let's say,
Exactly.
15 games. He played
Exactly.
four plays, so everything's delayed a year. These people just can't accept that though.
And it's like, listen, I love Joe D almost as much as Bonesy, but you know that getting to that Bonesy level requires like there's nuance. I'm not as talented as Bonesy is.
Well, let's be real. If you're getting to that Bonesy level, I got to play this.
Calm your freaky down.
All right, he loves Joe D a little too much.
But it's like you.
I like good looking chicks in that family. Wow.
Bobby.
Oh yeah, baby. Things are about to get crazy here on the Jake Asman Show.
Calm your freaky down.
Sometimes we try, but that freaky just take us over.
Give him some of your loving voice.
Oh yeah, hide them kids.
Again, leave your damn freaky down.
Too sexy.
you gotta chill, man. It's a little out of control with Mr. Bonesy and Joe Douglas. I'm just saying.
Oh God, that bit kills me. Yeah, I swear to God, Gator's the GOAT. That bit just kills me. Listen, at the end of the day,
Go on, Dre. I'm sorry.
That was perfect because that's exactly what I was gonna say. I was like, the 2022 draft cemented JD. Like, hey, you know what? I don't think we will ever have a GM that'll hit on that many draft picks in a row like that. Like, transcended. Like the 2022 draft to me is equivalent to what I think was the 1987 draft. The 1983 quarterback draft where Elway, I almost said Josh Allen, but it isn't. It was Jim. I think Elway, Jim Kelly, I think Marino was in that draft class too. Like it's an all time. Like I remember growing up, that's all anybody ever talked about was the 1983 quarterback draft class. We
Yep.
ended up with Timex, Ken O'Brien, but
It was a good quarterback. He just
Mhm.
wasn't Dan Marino.
yeah, but like that was transcendent level quarterback. That was franchise changing quarterbacks, like multiple quarterbacks in the draft and everything like that. So for me, the 2022 draft is in that level, and that's just for us. Like they talked about the draft overall. Like we've never seen in college this level caliber of quarterback play come out. Like it was historic. And JJ is just like I said, villains always deal with absolutes. That's how you know he's a good villain. Because villains only see things good and black and white. There's no nuance, there's no gray. It's just it is or it isn't. It's on or off. So that I wanted to say at first I was saying he was misguided because he is. He's very intelligent. He's very well spoken. But when it comes to the Jets, I don't know what it is. It's like he reverts to his 10-year-old self and he wants to be correct. Oh, if you're not trying to win the championship every time, like if you're just failing, and I'm like, see again, absolutes. It's like you want it, hey, I want to build a team. It's gonna take some time. We're gonna go through some tough years. We're gonna go struggle, but that's where you refine yourself. That's how you build championship caliber, attitude, pedigree, just the environment. You take some time. You have to go through tough times in order to get stronger to do things better. And the Jets are ready. Now with Ryan Clark, my whole thing was this. I Yes, he was fair about the Jets, and I'm fine with it. I'm not even gonna get upset anymore. It's like we had to just go out and do it. Like talking to mainstream media about Aaron Rodgers is good, the team is good, this, that, and the third. It's like talking to a brick wall. I'm not even doing it anymore. We're just gonna go out and do it, and then when people are gonna be like, "Oh my God, I didn't know," it's like, well, because you don't listen, because we done told you this is how it was gonna be. But at the end of the day, he was so blowing smoke about the Dolphins, and he put the Dolphins, I think, in the top 10 because I watched it last night, and I was like, the thing with mankind, I'm like, how is he even putting the Dolphins and the Bills? Both had them in front of the Jets, and I'm like, both teams got worse. Like I don't even have to be a Jets apologist to look at the teams and be like, both teams have gotten weaker. They've lost what they had. So
Because
how do
they're
you?
they're afraid to project the Jets actually being good. Because what happened last year, people don't want to get burnt again, and it's just easier to just rank the Jets somewhere over here and not worry about them until they actually show you something.
And that's fair because what happened? Why we said that they were going to be a Super Bowl caliber team. We all got excited, but then when you took out Rodgers, everything that Rodgers covered up was exposed. But we never proposed to have a good offense anyway. Like we only won 7 games with Zach Wilson when we thought that he was the franchise. Oh, he just needs a little seasoning. He's just 1 or 2 players away. We gave him basically the same starting weapon, the same weapons. What weapons? Like what? Mike Williams, um, the new 17, as I like to call him, the Yacht God. You know, we got 2 more pieces really on offense and a couple of running backs to go to support Brees behind. And now it's like, oh yeah, we covered the line issues, but Zach was a mobile quarterback, so it really shouldn't have mattered. Like Joe Joe Burrow had the worst offensive line play and still made the Super Bowl. So it was like, that didn't seem to be that big of a deal. Like when you start extrapolating and saying, okay, yeah, the line's bad, but it'll take some time. They'll get better, but we lost our guy on 4 plays in. Like, okay, we come back with the same expectations, and
Dre,
only gonna get better.
here's the bottom line, right? Because it's a good call from you. The only question you have to ask yourself is Brock Purdy going to be running for his life in the opener?
And we all know that what he's going to do is going to DIE.
Is Brock Purdy going to run for his life on the opener? Let's go. J-E-T-S, Jets. Let's go.
Look, Dre nailed it, folks. Andrew Kennedy with a $10 super chat. I don't get why we judge Joe Douglas on wins when the talent on the roster, depth, and starters is packed. Insert Frozen song for the first time in forever. In my opinion, wins equals coaching talent equals GM judge respectively. Well, Douglas put together a good roster. He failed at quarterback to this point. The Zach Wilson pick is a failure. The failure to have an adequate backup is on him too. The rest of the team is good enough for him to get this year. Now they got to win. I think it's simple. I think he's done a lot of good. He's not perfect. No GM is. But he's done, to me, more good than bad. His trades have been excellent. His drafting has been the best we've seen from a Jets GM in forever. Well, not perfect. He has built a damn good football team. But at this point, it should be a damn good football team. He's been here long enough where the expectation is now to win. He's had 5 full off seasons. He's technically in year 6. He picked his coach. He's had 2 picks at getting his quarterback right. Now they got to win. You don't get forever in the NFL. He's gotten plenty of time to rebuild this team. Mike says, I love Curtis Martin, but Brees is the best running back in Jet history. We're not there yet, Mike. Brees has got to do it year after year like Curtis did. Brees has got the talent to be one of the best the Jets have ever had, though. Carly writes in, Dre has the most soothing voice. I think he should be the reader for audiobooks. Dre, would you like to be a reader for a future audiobook on the history of the Asmaniacs?
Sure. I'm gonna hang around in the background. If you got some super chats, I'll read off some names, and maybe at least like Lowski won't be so upset. And I could be a nice little substitute, keeping it professional yet soothing, like easy listening, smooth
All right.
waves.
Oh, yeah, baby. All right, Dre. You stay there. Love it. Mr. Bonesy checks in. I cannot take JJ seriously. He's playing the villain role. He cannot genuinely think Salah's on Adam Gase level. You can name so many damn players that were drafted and developed by this regime. Insane. Well, look, we know what JJ is doing here, folks. We know what he's doing. We know what he's up to. Don't fall for it. Ladies and gentlemen, more of your calls coming up. Hit the like button if you're tuned in live. We've added 29 new members in this show. According to YouTube, we are just 16 away from a new channel emoji, and that will mean Bobby Midnight to honor our great country. to honor the USA will give us a rendition of the Pledge of Allegiance. Ladies and gentlemen, joining us right now is a man who needs zero introduction. He's become one of our own, Jerome the Packer fan. Hello, Jerome.
What's going on, Jake? How y'all feel?
What's up, Jerome?
Dre, man, that's my guy, man. He's gonna die. That was legendary. That was legendary. Dre has that radio voice. He has a voice for late night radio. He should probably look into that and make something happen with that, man. But as far as JJ, all I have to say is he very well may be right, but we got to see what the Jets do with a fully loaded staff, a retooled team with all the positions being filled or whatever. Aaron Rodgers is back. Let's judge him off of this year. Let's see what happens after this year. He could be right, but we don't know that. No team does well when their top-notch quarterback goes down. It's just if Kansas City loses Mahomes, they don't win the Super Bowl. They don't get to the playoffs. When Joe Burrow got hurt, you see what happened with Cincinnati. So we got to quit. There's got to be context to things. And I don't think JJ sometimes realizes that or whatnot. But he could be right. But we got to wait and see. We got to wait and see on that.
No, he wants answers now. He needs them.
We got to wait and see on that. Yes, but that's my boy Dre. That I'm gonna die. That took me out, man. That's legendary. He should probably go get that pack. He should probably go get that pack. He's gonna die. He's gonna die. But no, man, the Jets gonna do well. And all y'all got to do is just, you're gonna have naysayers, Ryan Clark, all of them. If I was a Jet fan, I would be so insufferable because I know you guys are gonna do well, and you get to throw it back in their faces. I would be so insufferable when with the "I told you so." That's how y'all should treat folk. Y'all should beat y'all chest and just throw it down their throats. Because if I was a Jet fan, I would be insufferable, especially if I had the year that I'm expecting you guys to have. You keep all these receipts, let them keep talking, and you get to throw it back in their face. I wouldn't even be mad.
Jerome, you're the best, man. I love it. I love it. Absolutely tremendous. I love it. Let's see here. Boomtown wrote in, Jake, I'm not sure you caught that in JJ's rant, but he freely admitted it took Mike Tannenbaum years to get the team to the playoffs and have success. Imagine that it takes time to build a winner. Well, Tannenbaum inherited a good team. They went to the playoffs in 2006, his first year as GM when he hired Mangini. The difference between Tannenbaum and Joe Douglas, you can't even compare the situations they inherited. Same with Saleh and Rex. Rex inherited the best offensive line in football. They were 8-3. They were the best team in the conference until Favre had the bicep injury and they fell apart. The Jets were rolling that year. They were a Super Bowl contender. And then they drafted Sanchez, and they were able to win in spite of his rookie shortcomings because of how good the rest of the team was. They had the number one defense in the league. They had the best O-line. They led the NFL in rushing. They had legitimate weapons. And Kotri, Edwards, Keller, they had a good team. I mean, there's a reason why they went to the AFC title game that year. And then they got even better in 2010. And then Tannenbaum, while he did some good, it fell apart. But you can't – Tannenbaum's a better GM to this point than Douglas, but I don't think we could sit here and say it's like Douglas is terrible. You got to look more than just a winning percentage. There's context to it. Not all situations are equal. Ladies and gentlemen, 5 channel memberships have just been gifted by none other than Dre Correa. So, Dre, I bring you on right now because you are the guy who needs to read the names of the people who received your channel memberships. But before we do that, we simply play this.
Is Brock Purdy going to run for his life on the opener? Let's go. J-E-T-S, Jets. Let's go.
All right, here we go. Willie Oyaride, Incognito Sports Card. Very cool of a name, by the way. Incognito Sports Cards, Joseph Lopez, Sean Murphy, and Andre Cali. You are all the newest Tasmaniacs. Welcome to the family, my brothers. Let's go.
Yeah, let's go, Dre. How about your voice? Very soothing for the people.
Thank you. Yeah, I do have a face for radio, so yeah.
Dre, say I want to get a couple different different drops. Can you say calm your freaky down, but say it in your voice?
Okay. Calm your freaky down.
Now give me an oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Dre, thank you. Stay on hold. If we get some more memberships, we'll come right back to you. Ladies and gentlemen, joining us right now is someone whose name has already been mentioned a couple times during today's show. He's a family man. He is a hard worker, and he's Bobby Midnight's best friend.
The only thing better than Alden shoes is Joey D, cause he totally rules. Jake, my brother, I'm high as a kite. I love everybody. Damn, this show is crazy.
Mr. Bodesy's here. Hello, Bodes.
Jake, my brother, you know when I hear Joey D trash talking, my freaking antennas go up. So I had to call in. But before we even get to that, I love Dre. If you hung out with Dre, how many times? When he at work, Dre, he is so relaxed. He's talking like a freaking sweet, like he's just smooth talking out there. Ladies, man, like you can hear it in his voice. Then when you're with him, he is like, we're at the Jets game the whole time, pumped up. He can't even control himself. He is like, it's crazy the difference of work, Trey, hanging out with him in person. It's so funny.
I've seen Dre, in a calm environment. I've also seen Dre scream at the Indiana Pacers fans at the sports bar we were at when we were watching Game 3 of the second round together.
we were all there, and Dre is like trying to start a fight. Like we're like 19 at the bar, like, yo! It was so funny. We're all like, oh shit, okay, we got to back this man right now. But Dre, my man. But to JJ, I mean, when he just with all the stuff that we all talk about, that's the same thing with Joe Douglas of where he came in and he drafted for a different regime and the trades he made and the finds that he's made. Not just Curly had a comment that pissed me off too. Oh yeah, he drafted 4 guys in the top 40. Big deal. It's like, bro, shut up, Curly. He didn't draft 4 regular guys. He drafted 4 players that are going to get paid at the top 5 of their position. Like he didn't draft some, just decent players. He drafted all pro players. Like, and when Joe Douglas drafted for the first regime, it was terrible, right? But then he came back with AVT. He made trades like Darnold that I still love the Darnold trade, a 2, 4, and 6 for Darnold. Jamal Adams, 1-year wonder. He gets us AVT and Garrett that are going to be staple. All right, I'm not going to get into all that stuff. But when he compared Saleh to Gase,
he loses the argument. This is JJ being JJ. We know what he's doing. Don't fall for it.
It's so hard in July 3rd to not fall for it because you got nothing else to talk about. So when they started, I can't control it. And I just feel like, Gase, not only did he even forget drafting or developing anyone because there was no one developed during the Gase years, but like Saleh, his staff, his regime is so good at developing players, especially on the defensive side of the ball, which is his. Like Joey D's got us. He'll draft superstars on offense that need no development. He'll take Brees in the second. He'll trade up in front of a team about to take a running back to get who's one of the running backs that's going to be the best in the NFL. Like our GM's got the cojones to do that. He's got and my biggest knocks on JD will always be the Zach stuff. There was no reason for Zach to get that many chances to play all these games and not having the backup quarterback. We all know that, but I don't know, man. I just feel like you got to have some context to this stuff, fellas. Like you can't just – JJ is definitely trolling us. He just wants to get us riled up because to compare him to Gase. And then you say about Mike T. Jake just said everything. Mike T, he was great in free agency. He made a lot of nice trades. Santonio Holmes was a great trade at the time. Braylon Edwards is a great trade at the time. But you know what I knock Mike about? That he kept Santonio and let go of J. Cole and Braylon. And if you listen to Sanchez, that's when he said his whole development, him having to Derek Mason. I mean, come on.
Oh, it was getting rid of Kotru was the beginning of the end of the Rex era. That was the worst
It was
move ever. I
it was
hated it.
terrible.
Oh, I was furious. I'll never. I was still at summer camp, and I remember seeing that alert, and I was so pissed. I'll never forget that.
Ridiculous. And also Rex, do you guys remember grounding pound? We had to like walk Sanchez by the leash to get through these games. We had a great defense, and we had to run the ball. We had the top offensive line in the NFL. We got LaDainian Tomlinson in the second year run. Like, come on, man. It was a totally Joe Douglas built this roster to what it is. And if we didn't have to last year be squished on the cap because we traded for Aaron Rodgers, which is going to be one of the best moves he's ever made in our Jets career once it goes down. And then Rodgers gives back that money, but we couldn't. If he would have did that, before free agency, we probably could have signed more players. But we brought in Rodgers guys, and if Rodgers was healthy last year, we would have been okay. We would have looked much better. This is the year. This freaking free agency in general. Oh man, I don't know, man. I can't wait. Let's go. Jets, Jets, baby.
Dre says, Bonesy, calm your freaky down.
I can't calm my freaky down when I'm talking about the 3-leg bandit. Come on. You know Joe Douglas, man. He be slanging that thing.
Carly writes in, the only thing Gase and Salah have in common is that they're both human. Even that is questionable at best. How about a football take from Carly? Wow. There we go. Ladies and gentlemen, joining us right now is someone who always gives us the worst takes. It doesn't matter if it's about football. It doesn't matter if it's about basketball. It doesn't matter if it's about food. They're always terrible. Ladies and gentlemen, Gary joins us now. Hello, Gary.
That take from Bonesy was worse than anything I'd ever said. That is literally a crime in Italy. If you do that in Italy, they lock you up.
What did he say that bothered you?
The Joe Douglas thing, he sounds like a woman who's been beaten by her boyfriend for 6 years. He goes, nobody loves me, but he really loves me. You guys don't know him like I do. He really loves me. It's like, you're in an abusive relationship. Get out. Joe Douglas is awful. He's horrible. Like, this is why JJ, I called him to defend JJ.
Of course you did.
Fans, the Jets are horrible. They're a miserable franchise. Someone needs to be held accountable. And I love Bonesy. But just to say, everything is good, everything is going well, Joe Douglas is the man. When he's put together this monstrosity, it's like, it's not okay. I promise you.
How is it so
okay.
bad? But Gary, call me in January if they have a terrible season. How are we having this take now? They go into the year with the second highest odds to win their own division. They go into the year with a 9.5 win total. They've won 7 the last 2 years with no quarterback. They've had, based on all accounts, your own words, a really good offseason. They also have, by your own words on the record, their most talented roster since 98. How is it a monstrosity, if that's even a word? I don't even know if that's the word.
I don't know. I may have just made one up. He's been here 5 years. Unless you win the Super Bowl, one winning year out of 5 years or 6 years or however you want to look at that, it's horrible. That's a terrible job. That's atrocious.
I think you mean a monstrosity, but not
monstrosity.
Yeah.
Probably. One winning season in 5 or 6 years, because I can give him a pass on 2019. That wasn't really his team, right? So however you want to look at that, one winning team in 5 years is awful. That's horrible. That's not okay, Jake.
Of course it's not okay. But last year, they only had a losing season because they had Aaron Rodgers for 4 plays. How did the Bengals do without Joe Burrow? Right? What happened last year to Mike Vrabel and the Titans once they had to go through 3 different quarterbacks?
Season. One season you can kind of write off that Rodgers got hurt.
Right, but Joe Douglas got here and he inherited Adam Gase for a year. They were terrible. He's tearing down the roster. Then he got to hire his coach in Salah in 21. They missed on Zach Wilson, which set the whole thing back. The rest of the team was good enough. Jason Light in Tampa didn't win until they got Brady. You need a quarterback.
We look at the 2022 draft, and the draft was great, and that's what he hangs his hat on. It's not like it's not like he got these guys in the 5th round out of nowhere, right? These aren't like Joker or Manu Ginobili type picks. They were obvious. Maybe you would have taken Olave over Garrett Wilson.
But it's not obvious. Jalen Reagor went in front of Justin Jefferson. Really, yeah, but you don't understand. You still have to pick the right player. We can't.
But even if you got it a little bit wrong, if you would have taken Drake London, He's still got a good player.
Yeah, but how did they get Garrett Wilson? Because they traded Jamal Adams and were able to get 2 first-round picks for the guy. How did they get AVT from the Adams trade? How did they get Breece Hall? They moved up in front of the Texans, who they knew they were going to take him.
AVT, like he's a good player, and I'm glad we have AVT.
Yeah,
but he's a mid-first round pick. That's what he is. They got him where he's valued.
But Gary, this supports the body of work that it's not just picking the player. There's strategy involved to getting in the right spot to position yourself for the player. His trades have been good. His free agent signings have not all been good, but there's been some good there.
Dalvin Cook, you got a good free agent signing?
I mean, Dalvin Cook, like, it didn't work. You know, like, I'm not going to kill him for giving a guy a 1-year deal and trying it. Like, he stunk. It is what it is.
$8-9 million. What was the contract? You're right. If it wasn't Joe Douglas, I wouldn't hate that signing as much. You know, I have a bias because I think Joe Douglas is completely incompetent. That anything he does that doesn't work out, I put a microscope on. I agree with that. But there's a reason why
Gary, the Jets, when John Izek was here, took D. Milner. He was thought to be a top 10 pick. He sucked. When Mike McCagnon was here, they took a quarterback in the second round that never played a down in the NFL. They took an off-ball linebacker who sucked in Darren Lee. Like, just because you have the high pick doesn't mean you hit on the pick. So Douglas has to get credit for that.
I've given him credit for it, but I'm saying it's not like another GM would have taken a drastically different. There were other guys you could have taken. Like when the Jets took Sauce, I wanted Thibodeau, right? When they took Sauce, I said, I hope this works out because you passed on a great player.
Well, guess what?
Probably the right pick, right? Not Thibodeau would have been a bad pick. Would have been a great.
What do you mean? What do you mean? Probably the right pick?
Okay, it was the right pick. I mean, because it depends. Like, what do you need? Do you need an edge rusher or do you need a corner?
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Sauce Gardner is the best at his position. It's a premium position. He's the best. Dude, if you were doing a redraft of the 2022 draft, Sauce Gardner is going first overall.
Who went? It was
Trevon Walker, Aiden Hutchinson, Derek Stinley, Sauce Gardner. Sauce is going 1-1 if you do a redraft. So you're not giving Douglas enough credit, which doesn't make sense because you also have talking out of both sides of your mouth when you say it's their most talented team since '98. So can we let it play out?
Because
and then if they suck,
but it's not Rodgers.
Gary, if they just had Rodgers, we saw in Green Bay that wasn't enough. They won 8 games this last year there because the team wasn't good enough. You need more than just a quarterback. It's a prerequisite to be good, but you need more than just a quarterback.
I've come in here and I've defended Salah. I understand JJ and Allen who want him fired because if you look at his resume, it's a fireable resume. But I don't think he's a horrible coach. I think he's been put in a bad situation. But I think he's built a good defense. I think him and Ulbrich have a system where you can put guys in, Adams and other guys, Huff. You can just put good athletes in, and they're going to max them out in the system. I think they've done a great job on defense. If you want to give Joe Douglas credit for hiring Salah, great. Okay. That's fine. I don't hate him. He's obviously not great. I understand the argument against him. He loses all the time, and he has a team that commits the most penalties. So if you're looking for a scapegoat, he's a good one. But, yeah, I think the defensive system is really, really good. I think it's really good. And if you have a defensive system like that and Aaron Rodgers, you got a shot, right? They got lucky that Green Bay is done with Rodgers. If Green Bay decides we're going to go another year or two, you don't get Rodgers. And you're stuck with some rotating pile of crap at quarterback. You can get some veterans. You can try to draft another one.
Gary, none of this matters. They got Rodgers. The team was good enough to attract Aaron Rodgers to want to play for them. They have a talented team. Now they need to win. I promise you, if they don't win, they're going to make whole changes to the coach and the general manager.
I'm with you. If they don't win this year, if they don't win 11 games, they don't make the playoffs, right? Everything is brand new next year. But I'm just saying, fans like JJ are necessary. They're not just going along to get along. They see a problem. The problem is this team loses every single season. Yeah, and they're not okay with it.
Right. No one should be okay with it. But there's nothing they could do about it on
Bonesy
July 3rd.
is celebrating it. Bonesy's having a love affair with the abusive boyfriend who treats him wrong. Right. It's like.
Look, I think Bonesy's too high on Douglas personally, but I think I'm more on his side than yours because you're talking out of both sides of your mouth. On one hand, you say the GM is terrible, this and that, and then you add no context to it. But then on the other side of your mouth, you then say it's their most talented roster since '98. So it doesn't add up. They get this year.
But when I say it about Sean Marks, when he put a team with Kyrie and KD and Harden, and I say he's a horrible GM, that's understandable, right? Because he's a horrible GM who got a lucky situation that Kyrie and KD wanted to play together. Kyrie was born in Jersey as a Nets fan. He wanted to play for the Nets. That doesn't make Marks a great GM.
No, but
they lucked into Rodgers.
We can't. They did not. I can't. You don't. They did not look into Aaron Rodgers, and basketball's a completely different sport. They did not look into Aaron Rodgers, Gary. Aaron Rodgers would be on a different team right now if the New York Jets did not have a roster that he looked at and said, if I go here, we could be a Super Bowl contender. That's the bottom line.
You had to have the cap space, right? You had to have a need at quarterback. The Jets fit all those things. And
Gary,
Rodgers, like,
he took a $35 million pay cut to help facilitate the trade. Like, he wanted to be a Jet. Why do you think that is? Because he saw the team that Douglas put together and the Saleh's coaching staff, and he believed in it.
well, it's also a legacy play, right? Like, how do I surpass Peyton Manning or these other guys? I win with the Jets. They couldn't do that, right? Like, it's a legacy play.
No,
right?
it was the
best.
No, it was the best team available to him. Just like Tom Brady went to Tampa. They don't have a rich history.
Hang on. So you're telling me if the Carolina Panthers or some other nondescript team was in the same situation as the New York Jets, that Rodgers would have went to Carolina? No, he wanted to go to the Jets because if you win there, it's a legacy play. You boost your legacy.
Gary, if the New York Jets were not as good roster-wise as the Panthers or the Texans, or insert whatever team you want that doesn't have like a rich history, he would have went there. The Bucs don't have a rich history. They haven't been in the playoffs since 2007 before Brady got there. They hadn't won a playoff game since their Super Bowl win in 2002.
You're telling me if the Panthers were in the same position as the Jets, Rodgers would have went to the Panthers?
Yeah, he would have. Also, it's in the NFC, which would have been an easier path for him to get to a Super Bowl. If the Panthers had the roster the Jets had, that would have been the team he'd want to go to if the Jets sucked.
He went to the Jets because it's New York. If you win with the Jets, you become a hero all time. You become.
Joe Douglas should have been fired 2 days before he was hired.
I can't, Gary. I can't. Do I think the appeal of playing in New York appealed to Rodgers? Yeah. But I don't think that was the end-all, be-all. He picked the team that gave him the best chance to win. He could have went to Vegas, too. I mean, good God. I mean, Gary, you talk out of both sides of your mouth. It's unreal. Bobby writes in, "Hi, Carly, my beautiful friend."
Calm your freaky down.
Come on, Bob. We've talked about this. Oh, my God. I can't with Gary's nonsense. I mean, Gary, you lose the argument every time when you say that Douglas has built the most talented Jets team since '98. He gets this year. If they don't win, they'll make changes. You could have your question marks with him as a GM. You could say you don't think overall he's very good. That's fine. He gets this year. I mean, what are we doing here? Ladies and gentlemen, he's dying to respond. Bonesy is up next. Bonesy?
I'll be quick. All I'm going to say is he said like I'm like a battered, I am like a rescued dog, right? I was beaten and I was treated real badly for about 15 years. And then I got adopted by a really nice family. And I was very hesitant at first, but they just earned my trust. And now I got their back. And now I'm a well-behaved dog. Because before Joe Douglas, I was a negative Nancy. I hated our regimes. I hated our everything, our trades, our signings. I hated all that stuff. And I may be a little too positive on Joe Douglas, but that's just because when you really look inside underneath the tea leaves and really dig deep, we got Aaron Rodgers, and I just can't wait, man. That's all I'm going to say is I can't wait. I may be a Joe Douglas truther way too much, but, 20 or more teams would have took Zach Wilson with that pick. I don't know if 20 teams would have let him start as many games as he did for us. I don't know why we believed in Zach so much. Maybe it was his skill set, but, just wait. Gary gets in. I accept Gary's takes. Gary has told us why sometimes his takes are bad. So I love Gary. He'll always be my man, kicking it with Gary. But especially like you said, Gary, look at this offseason he's had with Tyron Smith and Mike Williams. These are great signings. His trade for Morgan Moses. We don't have to go through it. Like, this is the year. Rodgers is ready, and we're fucking coming. So, JETS, jet up, fellas. Let's do this.
Bonesy, thank you. Unreal. JJ and Gary leading us in the discourse on today's show. We opened with Ryan Clark. Who would have thought the NFL analyst that we wanted to tar and feather the most was actually two Asmaniacs. Big fella, super check, cuts the line. Gary, JD built this roster. This is a what have you done for me now league, and he has a great offseason. Be positive. No need for looking back. The funniest thing is Gary's positive when it comes to this year's team. He's the one saying they should be a Super Bowl contender. He's the one saying that it's the most talented team since 98. That's why I don't get it. Dorian with a super chat. Asmaniac for 3 months. You're talking to a brick wall, Jake. I love me a brick wall. Andrew says, if the Jets make the playoffs this year, will Gary eat his words and say JD is good? Gary, will you eat your words?
If you make the playoffs once in 6 years, no, I won't say you're good for making the playoffs once in 6 years. That's not that's not a good track record.
What does Joe Douglas have to do for you to say he's good?
I mean, that ship's already kind of left. You know, that dock's already, the boat's already left the dock. You know, like that's kind of hard to save this now. But build a winner. You know, for the next 5, if he's here and he saves his job for the next 5 years, make the playoffs 4 times and win the division twice. I'll say you're doing a good job.
Chicken with pasta is worse than peanut butter with sandwich.
Incredible. Thank you, Gary. Dre checks in with a super chat. Alan, are wins and losses the only criteria? ? Dre versus Alan going on in the chat right now. What else is new? Death taxes and that war raging on. Ladies and gentlemen, a couple minutes left in the show, and our king is on the line. King Lowski's up next. Hello, King Lowski.
You know, Gary really pisses me off. You really piss me off, Gary. Your takes is just horrible, bro. And you come on here every damn day with the same bull, and it's tiring, Gary. It's very tiring. I could just see it in Jake's face. He just tired of you, dog. He really is, okay? Ain't no way we just sitting up here talking about some damn Joe Douglas in July when he put together this damn supernatural roster, okay? That's going to go leaps and bounds beyond what the hell we had in the past. I just don't get it. What the hell are we complaining about, okay? Look, at the end of the day, Joe Douglas is better than any GM, and I'm going to tell you why. Because you know why? He won a damn Super Bowl, whether it was with us or not. That man, Turnbull may win no damn Super Bowl, okay? None of Mike McCann, none of these damn fools won a Super Bowl, okay? The man put together a team that won a Super Bowl. Let him do it for us, all right? Now, it's taking longer than it expected, yeah. But the hell with it. We've been waiting 50-something damn years for a damn Super Bowl. We can wait another couple damn years, okay? Now I'm 35. I know it's a lot of Jet fans in here that's 60 plus that ain't seen a lot of winning, and I respect that, okay? And no disrespect to y'all, but at the end of the day, damn it, let JD cook, okay? Let the man cook, all right? Now, damn it, I'm tired of this shit in July, all right? It's July. Okay, training camp is coming up. We got some good pieces together. Let's put it all together. Let's stop complaining about irrelevant crap in July. Okay? GTS! Just
Yeah. That's a live look at Lowski there, reacting to Gary's latest take. Couple super chats here. Dre says, we want Decker. Get Gary off. Decker's the most rational person of the Gary family, clearly. Big fella checks in. Everyone smash your big fella emoji, which we added yesterday. Gary, if JD's a bad GM, what do you think of the Nets GM over the past 2 decades? Mike says, what's your radio schedule before you go, Jake? Throw it in the Discord, Mike, but I'm on the radio on Sunday from 12 p.m. to 4 p.m. Eastern on NFL radio on Sirius XM. That's Sirius XM channel 88. I'm also hosting Monday and Tuesday night on Mad Dog Sports Radio, channel 82 from 10 p.m. to 1 a.m. So a couple of late nights coming up for me next week. So 3 straight days of radio coming up. Ladies and gentlemen, let's get a membership update because Bobby wants to know how many members do we need before he comes on the air and gives us the Pledge of Allegiance ahead of the upcoming July 4th holiday. I don't know if we're going to get it during this show, but we got the Buffalo Jet fan on in the afternoon today, and I feel like he would appreciate it. 12 members away from the Bobby Midnight Pledge of Allegiance. Just 12. I think we're going to get there. Gator says, the king laughing brightens my day. Me too. Rat Diddy says, facts, king. Enjoy it, you clowns. I hate to end on such a negative note. But ladies and gentlemen, joining us right now is a man who needs no introduction whatsoever. We just need to give you a warning first.
Warning! Warning! Allen alert! Shit's about to get ugly, folks. Warning! Allen alert! Hide the children!
Hello, Alan.
Hello, Asman. What's going on? A couple of comments. Dre, love the guy. Hope he stays healthy. I appreciate his sense of humor. But again, as I wrote in the chat, when you say that the GM is not judged by wins and losses, you lose me. That's where I lost it. So he's made that multiple times. When you are 27-56, and that is his record, I know you look at the first year and you discount that. I get it. But when you are 27-56 and you get a pass by a guy like that, that's ridiculous. Okay, that's the first point. And you need to. And when he makes a comment like that again, I know I am a frequent visitor to the hole. That's where he needs to go when he makes a comment like that.
Yeah, but that's not what he's just saying. Like he
did say that. He said that multiple times. He said
yes, but I understand his point. It's like Joe Douglas's record is not good. You have to see past the record to see some of the good he has done.
You were judged by your record. Okay?
Ultimately, yes, but you can't judge them by their record yet. We were supposed to be able to do that last year, and due to horrible circumstances that only happened to us Jet fans, we lost our entire season on the first drive of the year. Like that needs to be taken into account.
Honestly, how many organizations besides the Jets would have given this GM a sixth year?
I think most would have when you see the team. Because it doesn't make sense just to fire the guy and start all over. And it's not really a 6th year. All right. There's also got to be context added to when he took over. He got hired in June of 2019. We're not counting 2019. That's not his team. Then 2020 was the Gase teardown year. They were the worst team in the league, trying to get the first pick in the draft at the end of the day. Screwed that up. So at the end of the day, Gase is gone. He then gets to pick his head coach for the first time, technically going into year 3 as a GM. To me, I look at Joe Douglas's tenure as this is his 4th year. Last year's a throwaway year because they didn't have Aaron Rodgers. So, this is the make or break year. It's a year later than it should have been because last year we should have had the definitive answer on this regime.
Let me say they go 10-7 this year and they miss the playoffs. Does he get fired?
I would have to see how they went 10-7.
No. He misses the playoffs 10-7. You have made the comp. He would get fired
without knowing the circumstances.
Okay.
They go 10-7.
You made
miss
the comment
playoffs,
like I have made. You have made the comment like I have made the comment. If one goes, they both go.
Yeah, but 10-7 making the playoffs is extreme.
No, I'm not. I said if he does not make the playoffs at 10-7, do they both go?
I can see Douglas maybe getting a chance to pick another.
You can't keep one and
why? But if they built a 10-win team and coaching was clearly the reason why they didn't win more.
But he's judged by he hired this coach.
I agree. I agree. But if the roster is good enough, they might let him. They might let him pick another coach. I'm not saying that's what I would do. It's Alan. Why are we answering this question now when we don't? We need to see how the year plays out.
June, it's July. You bring up these scenarios now. You have to. You just bring them up. That's
okay. So blanket statement without seeing how they got to the record, what injuries happened, was there circumstances that we're not foreseeing? I would say if they miss the playoffs, they're both gone. But I want to see how the year plays out because if they won 10 games, something tells me they had a pretty good roster. Maybe coaching held them back, or maybe Rodgers got hurt and they won 10 games with a backup playing most of the games. And it's like, we're really going to kill them for winning 10 games with Tyrod. Like, you have to see how it plays out.
2 more comments. If by some way this team is 3 games under 500 in the season, well, let's say they start 1-4. I don't think they will, but let's say they're 1-4. Do you think Salah gets canned?
I don't think they're going to make an in-season change. I
You
think
don't.
if there was ever a year for it to happen, it could be this year, but I don't think it happens. I think Salah's the coach the whole year.
And finally, with Bonesy, and I love him, he's just too positive. He's delusional. I'm sorry. I know he loves the guy and he could do no wrong. But come on. This team is a losing organization. They have not made the playoffs in 13 years. You got to be realistic sometimes. I know he loves JD, but JD hasn't had a winning season. If this team does not win this year, I don't want to hear any more excuses from the Dreys and from the Bonesies and from the Neils and from my good friend in Glenhead. Yeah, none. I'm done. I'm done with the excuses. I know I am putting myself on the line and I'm the hater and I'm also always so negative, but I'm realistic. This team is a losing organization for the last 13 years. If this team continues to lose, I don't want to hear any fucking excuses.
Well, it changes this year, obviously.
Okay, but they have to win.
Yes,
I don't want to hear.
But Dre's not saying they don't have to win. Bonesy's not saying they have to win.
Hold on. Dre and Luppy made comments that if they go 9-8 and they don't make the playoffs, that JD keeps his job. Luppy made that comment when we were on the air. He made that comment, and I thought it was absolutely asinine that you can keep this GM if they don't make the playoffs. That's ridiculous.
And I have said I view them attached at the hip until there's different circumstances. I'm not just going to make a blanket statement in July so you can be like, see, you said this then. I want to see how the year plays out. But for me, they need to make the playoffs or they both should go. That's how I feel right now.
Well, I appreciate that. But again, you're judged by wins and losses as a GM.
But there's also context to the conversation, and you can't judge Joe Douglas and Robert Saleh by wins and losses off of last year when they had Aaron Rodgers for 4 plays. Right.
This year, you win. Again, if you don't make the playoffs, or even if you make the playoffs and you don't win a playoff game, the mandate to me is a winning season with a playoff win. If that does not happen, both have to go.
I agree, Alan.
Thanks a lot. I appreciate that.
Alan, give us a Jet chant. He won't. It pains him too much, folks. Come on. Dre writes in, Alan, do you understand nuance? Can you spell it? God. What a show. What a show. Bet page, Chris, if they start 1-4, I'll need major psychotherapy. I don't ever want to do this show if they start 1-4 this year. They won't. All right? Let's be positive. Everyone calm down. They're going to be 4-1 going into the Bills game. I do think, though, Allen might not like it. If they go 10-7 and miss the playoffs, I think Douglas picks the next coach. That's what I think happens. I got time for one last call, then I got to get out of here. Gator in the Daylight joins us now. Hello, Gator.
Hey, can you hear me?
Oh, we hear you.
I usually don't call him with serious takes, but Alan and Gary just make me want to explode a bit. So I'm going to just hold it together and say it simply this way. You guys have to understand, nobody disagrees with you. If this team does not perform in the fall, that everybody goes, right? Nobody disagrees with that. You need to accept the fact right now, today, Joe Douglas, Robert Saleh, they're here. They're not going anywhere. They're here. So shut up. Stop talking about it. So we all agree that these guys are here. The season's going to start, and we're either going to win or we're not. And at the end of that, we're likely going to throw them out if we don't make the playoffs. There's no conversation to have, so stop it. Let's talk about circus elephants, Puerto Rico, and strippers, because this conversation is just enough. We're done. And I don't have a serious point usually, but stop. I'm done listening to it. That's all I got. Happy 4th, everybody.
Would you like to do the Pledge of Allegiance?
No, my blood's boiling. I can't do it justice. I really want to hear Bobby do it. But I must say, I'm working on a Sarah Bobby love drop that is going to just be beautiful.
Oh, God. Oh, God.
So we'll see that. Happy 4th. Take care,
Happy
guys.
4th, ladies and gentlemen. Gator McCluskey, Gator Daylight, as he's known as on the Bobby Midnight show. Gator's 100% right. That call better be featured in Best of the Jake Asman Show, episode 4. That was tremendous. Amen. Dre writes in, save us, Gator. Alan, Gary, and JJ are awful. Unreal. What a show. What a show. I'll be back in the afternoon. We'll get to more of your calls then with the Buffalo Jet fan. We're expecting to go live around 4 p.m. Eastern, so we will have another show. We will hopefully hit that membership threshold in that show so Bobby can give us a little pledge of allegiance ahead of the July 4th holiday. As we enter that show, we are just 12 members away, so I'm looking forward to that. Start coming up ideas for that next channel emoji. All right, I appreciate everyone. I appreciate Gator calling in there. And you know what? In honor of Gator's greatness, let's throw it back to my personal favorite Gator McCluskey impersonation of all time. Have a good one, everybody. Like and subscribe. Go Jets. JJ, Allen, Gary, please be better.
Jets got to get this offensive line figured out. Because it doesn't matter who we have on the center, because these assholes can't hold the line. I don't think the fuck. I think there's a little fire over there. Hold on. Or Jake, I might need you to call 911. Oh shit. Oh, Jesus Christ. What the hell's going on here? Oh my Lord. Oh Jesus Christ. Oh.
I do love that about Jets fans, you know what I mean? They care so damn much. And this has been a shit season for sure. But we will be back.
Hell yeah.